Well, good Wednesday morning to you. Chris Hare here, the world champion crypto cowboy, bringing you your daily update on ICP. Had a little run up over the past couple of days. Pretty impressive. Maybe we found a floor, or is there more downside? We're going to break that down in the charts today. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think from the short time frame all the way out to a weekly chart and give you some long-term macro targets for ICP. But I am a world champion rodeo cowboy. I earned those in the team roping events, and I'm taking those strategies and the discipline that I've used to become a world champion. I'm going to bring them in here to the crypto desk, and if you stick with me long enough, I'm going to make all of you world champion crypto traders. So go ahead and hit like, subscribe, tap the bell notification. You'll get updates as soon as I upload a video because you are not going to want to miss them. We'll start off with the crypto fear and greed index, currently at a 14. We're in extreme fear. This measures market sentiment, and everyone is scared to death. Every time we kind of top out, show a little weakness, people get scared, they dump out of their trades, and we go in extreme fear again. But what I like to do with this is I make small spot purchases when we're in fear. When we drop down in extreme fear, I buy a little more. And then what I do, since it's spot, I don't have to worry about getting liquidated, so I just sit on it, forget about it. When we run up into greed, I sell it off. It's a strategy that's worked pretty well for me. It's safer than leverage trading, and you can see on my BitUnex chart, I've been dollar cost averaging since we dropped into fear and then down into extreme fear. We've got about $90 in Solana and Ethereum. Currently, we're down about 6 and 8%. And then Bitcoin, I bought Bitcoin because I think I should buy Bitcoin at 90,000. If it's below 100,000, I think it's a good deal for me. So I went ahead and bought some of that. But if you need an exchange to trade on, go ahead and check out BitUnex. You'll find a link to that in my description. There is no KYC, and I think you get a little bonus on your first deposit, along with a little better exchange trading fees. But go ahead and look at an altcoin season index because it's relevant to ICP. It's not alt season yet, but we're moving it that way. 43 tonight. I think we were over into the mid 40s earlier in the week. But what we need to see is we need to get all the way over here into these oranges and reds, up above 60 to 70. I think that's where we start seeing the alts really run if we can get that far. We'll look at a liquidation heat map. This is what market makers use to track your liquidity. Everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade. And the market makers move the charts by chasing after your liquidity. They don't care about TA. They care about where your liquidation points are. And that's what they're after. But you can see cumulatively, we've got about $6 million of short trades up to about 531. On the other side of that, we've got about 2.5 million down to about 373. So there's an imbalance still to the upside. We've been working up that way. You're starting to get some liquidations in here because everybody's starting to go long. It hasn't been crazy, so that keeps me kind of optimistic that we might be running up. There is a big pocket here about 450. I think you're probably coming after that. And then we'll see what happens at about 516 if we can get that far. But we'll break it down in the charts. I post all of these charts in the crypto school. You'll find that link in my description. If you really want to learn how to trade or you really want to learn how to invest, it's an absolutely amazing place to get started. I'm there. There's a great lineup of coaches. All the community there will never make you feel stupid. So come on over, say hi, check it out. Like I said, the link's in my description. Starting off on ICP's 1 hour chart, we can see we're getting bullish. We've crossed over these 50 moving averages. Looks like we've had a successful retest. Maybe getting ready for some more upside here. Where I think you would go from here. The 200 smooth moving average sits at about 483. That takes 200 of these candles, puts a fluid line on the chart, works as excellent support and resistance. It's sitting at about 483. I think that's your first checkpoint. If you reject, I think you're probably going to come back down and do some more retests. But if you can get above it, 495 to 519 is your next target. That's the retracement golden zone. The regular golden zone sits right on top of it, 519 to 555. We'll see what happens there. I think that's a key resistance that we've got to get through to work on any more upside. You could double top here at about 594. Then it gets kind of bearish. But if you can get above all this, 660 to 734. If something goes wrong along the way, I don't think there's much room to go down right now. You extended off of your fibs from the last swing high. That was down about 370. Maybe you come down and retest this fair value gap around $4, but that's kind of where I am. I'm not really seeing a lot of downside, but the possibility's there. In the longer term, you can kind of see on the 4-hour chart, we've been in this retracement zone. We've just kind of been bouncing around, but we have found support and started to work up. Your 50 moving averages and your 200 sit here. That's kind of a death cross. They do one of two things. If we're bullish, they signify usually a local bottom. When you're bearish, a lot of times you test them and then you fall out of them. Those are my concerns for tonight or today. 468 is probably your magic number there. If you can get above all this mess, I think you're headed up to your golden zones at about 772 to 870. Then it begs the question, do you put in a lower high or do you go on up to 1154 to 1356? So I think your first big target is 475. Get over that, and I think you're looking at 770 to 870. Those are your big pockets where you need to pay attention, because if you get a rejection, we're going lower. We have not filled out this wick. Market makers like to fill out about 80% of them. That comes down to about 204. And you can see we've rejected off of this daily retracement zone, but in the lower time frames, we're working up. So maybe we can reclaim this, get to the 50 smooth moving average at about 467, get over that. The 200 sits at about $6. Then I think you have an opportunity for 676 to 811. That's where I'm concerned. There's a bearish fair value gap on the daily. Those are very strong. So do you set in a lower high and reject and go down to fill out this wick, or do you go on up to $12 to $14? Weekly's going to kind of paint the same picture. We do have a fair value gap sitting here at about 345, so that's bullish. Your 50 moving averages sit at about 575 and 668 respectively. We've got to get over those and get into this golden zone to think about more upside. That's 682 to 818. 991, if you reject here even, that's a double top. That's bearish. We're headed down. We need to get up to 1211 to 1491, and then we're extended on the weekly. It begs the question, do you come back down and retest the 50 and continue to work up, or is that the end and you work down here to about $1.80, $1.90? Time will tell. That's kind of where we are for tonight. But that gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on with ICP right now. It gives you a short term and a longer term. There's a lot of uncertainty on everything. I think it really depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin can get a run, I think everything runs. But if Bitcoin starts to pull back, it's going to get bloody. It's going to get ugly. And that's just where we are. There's a lot of uncertainty until we have a few more days to see what kind of structure we can put in. It's really anybody's guess of where we go from here. But go ahead and check out the links in my description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tap the bell notification, and leave us a comment. I really enjoy hearing what you guys have to say, and it helps the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate that. But I'm going to wrap it up for today. I got a lot of work to do. Got quite a few horses to shoot. Headed to the NFR, so we got to get those ready to go. But I'm Chris Hare, the World Champion Crypto Cowboy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you down the road.